How you been, man?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Same old, same old. Yeah,
Um,
just chilling, man. It's a bit cold in England.
Do you guys get much snow over there?
Sometime, not really like that.
Sometimes like snow for like a week quite heavily, and then that's
Bit
it.
rare
Really.
though, isn't it?
Mm.
Bit rare.
Up north, because we're quite south.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
in the north of England, like usually it's a bit. I'm just putting the charger in. Usually it's a bit. Oh, it's not gonna work. Usually it's a bit snowy and
Yeah, I woke up to probably about 7 or 8 inches of snow today, and that'll be for the rest of the year, man. We'll get a shitload of snow all year. But
really.
Crushed.
no, yeah, that's Canada, man.
Whereabouts in Canada?
I'm about an hour north of Toronto, so
Okay.
yeah. So, but
How
what's that? Sorry.
cold is it in where you are now?
I think it was about -7 today for a bit. It's a little bit warmer now, but
Yeah.
That's
we
a
go
bit
we go through stages where it's like -45 and stuff, which is just insane.
Do you leave the house?
You have to, man. You got to go to work and stuff, but
fun.
and yeah, they usually last for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then it gets back to somewhat normal. But
What's it like in the summer then, where you are?
we go. It's kind of the opposite because we'll go through some like really hot weeks where it's +40, just friggin' can't sleep because it's too hot type of nonsense. But
That's crazy, man.
most of the time it's okay, I guess.
Man, madness.
So I don't want to keep you fellas too late or too long, but I do want to again thank you guys for joining me. This will be my first interview on the channel, but I do want to do my best to build upon that and have and spread UK hip hop. I try to spread the word of UK hip hop over here as much as possible.
We appreciate that, man. And
Big ups.
thank you for letting us be a part of it, man.
Oh, I'm humbled that you want to be. So that's terrific. Thank you. As you guys know, the channel's been around for less than a year. It started actually because of COVID. I wanted something to do as an opportunity to do something creative, and my buddy Vince has always told me about UK hip hop, and I never listened to it. I was always listening to American stuff. So I decided to listen to it, and that spawned the channel.
Nice.
So having said that, I've only got into your newest stuff because I don't want to listen to older stuff until I have. I don't want to listen to music until I had a chance to react to it. So I've been focusing on your newer stuff. So some of my questions will be based around that, obviously. The one thing I do notice in the album, which I consider the best of 2020, you guys just absolutely killed it. Tremendous album. I find that it's very socially conscious. You seem to focus on a lot that's happening. Is that something you guys intentionally focus on?
No, not really. I just write about what's going on around, man, innit? So more time I'm just writing about life in general, do you know what I'm saying? I feel like, because that album was like, that got made over the space of 2 years, so not everything was focused on now, and not everything was focused on, say, back then. It's just a mix of different things that have been happening and which will always happen, do you know what I mean?
He's quite a social
commentator, and all.
Yeah, a little bit, but he's also quite a social guy. Like, got friends in quite a lot of places, so he gets out of the house a fair bit when he decides to. Do you know what I mean? He gets involved in stuff, basically. Huh?
I mean stuff.
Not bad stuff,
Oh,
but
yeah.
just things. Like
Yeah,
you're active.
I'm around, innit? I'm around.
So maybe that influenced it a
Yeah, I
little
think
bit.
I'm just about. There's many different walks of life that I've seen. I've got friends from different walks of life. I'm about. I'm not just on some one track minded shit. If that makes sense. That probably doesn't make sense.
It does, of course, yeah. And speaking of that, you're talking about getting around, seeing people. Even you guys living in two different cities.
Yeah.
How difficult was it when COVID started happening? How difficult was the process and getting the record completed, shooting the videos? Like, what kind of effect did that have in your process?
Well, I mean, it was trickier to do. We just had to think a bit more about how to do videos, because obviously during COVID, like, there were certain rules where you couldn't be, you couldn't really interact. You're supposed to go out once, like half an hour, but you just kind of like ignore that.
You gotta do your thing.
You've got to do what you gotta do. Like, if you think about the feeling, like, we were just in some spot called Seven Sisters, and like there was barely anyone around, so it's like
don't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. And then the same thing with My Wonders, we were like in some abandoned
salt mines,
salt
mines or something,
abandoned salt mine or something. So we didn't really see anyone.
Just had to get it done, really.
Just had to get it done, and then
plus, I was living here in for a bit.
Yeah, Verbz was here
during the summer.
So it was a bit easier.
For a little bit, innit? So.
But with like music as well, and that, like a lot of it can be done thanks to the technologically advanced world we live in. Like this, what we're doing right now. Like
God bless the internet.
Yeah, a lot of it can be. A lot of the organisation and that can all be done through that. So
online, so it does help, especially living in two different places. I think we like to link up anyway, don't get it done really.
Yeah, we meet up
sometimes,
like quite a lot, and we just work through our kind of to-do lists and things that we have to do, and sort of make music together.
Yeah,
I'd say more than we actually get to hang out, because the dynamic of our friendship has kind of changed a lot in terms of like, because Verbz lives in another city now, and because of COVID, when we do meet up, we have to just kind of do more. We do still hang out and that, obviously, but because we're kind of behind on like
things, we've got to mash out the work, innit?
Yeah, we've got to mash out the work, so it can be tricky. Like Verbz arrived here on Monday, and we've just been doing music.
Yeah, it's been making music ever since Monday.
Since Monday.
Nice.
Stop.
Yeah, don't stop.
And then so I guess with the videos, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't as hard as you think, really, to be honest with you. It's more just like taking that little risk of just going through it, and there was the pressure of the album release date looming, so we kind of had to just do it, like.
But does the creative process change for you? Like, being in two different cities when you were doing that. I mean, you mentioned to me the other night when we were talking on Instagram, you said Verbz was upstairs writing, and there's got to be that a little bit of different electricity between you guys when you're actually doing something together in the same room. Is that true?
Sometimes, I guess.
More time, I like to write by myself anyway. I write most of my stuff by myself. I'll write stuff alone and then come check him and be like, yo, what are you saying? I wrote this. And he'll be like, yo, what are you saying? I've got these beats, innit? Because sometimes he'll send me a beat, like For My Peeps, that was a beat that you sent me, and then I wrote to it, and then hit the lab and sent it back to him. That was us working online.
Right.
Like,
I think that's the only track we've done in that way, because that was during COVID. So it was like, basically, because we've worked on a lot of stuff, I kind of know the stuff that Verbz will fuck with, and with that I was like, yeah, I know he's gonna like this. So I sent it. We needed a single for HF, like pre-album, to create a bit of momentum, and I thought that was a good beat. And then obviously Verbz, obviously the lockdown maybe inspired the
tune, innit? It's from
song.
people I ain't seen.
Yeah, but then sometimes it works in a different way. Like, he'll come here, we might just start making something and it might catch a vibe, or there'll be something that's old or something that's new, that's fresh, and you just start writing. But you either go upstairs and write, or because a lot of it as well is I can't listen to the same beat again and again. I can't sit in the same room and be like, oh my god, because I've been listening to it for ages to make it, so I'd rather like do something else, make a new beat so yeah, that's why he was upstairs.
Right. So that's actually was going to be one of my questions, about, do you find that more often than not it's you provide a beat and then Verbz, you will take that and rap over it, or do you ever come with or you actually mentioned that you come with some lyrics and you create something to go with the lyrics that he's provided? Is it kind of 50-50, or?
More time I just pull up and I'm like, what beats you got? Do you know what I'm saying? And then we just go through some shit or make something new. But there are times I'm like to now be like, I've wrote this about this. I'm like, let's try find something that fits that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, we always have to try and because there's been times where you've spat bars and it's like, we might be trying them on one beat and it's like, let's find another one, to fit the vibe of it, so there is thought that goes into that. Definitely. And then it works the other way. There's like, the beat's nice and it will inspire him.
Yeah.
So like the feeling, you like the feeling, don't you? So that beat, I made it and then sent it to Verbz, been like, I reckon you could, you could do something crazy with this, and then the verse birthed from that, the song birthed from that.
If I didn't care, check, Verbz, Mr Slipz, dive into the deep end, lose yourself on every weekend, abusing health, eluding help to chase a feeling. The truths we once held became weakened. Drugs don't help, it's only self that we're defeating. Caught in the blues, call on booze to break free. As days turn to weeks, while your days burning through peace. All to keep up with the seat, and hurt that you've been feeding. What's the reason? Can't seem to face up to all of your dealings. Lose faith, create new traits as your mates leave. Some say you ain't the same, and that's a shame, but who's to blame?
We don't really have like a set
process. It just kind of happens, you know what I mean?
Working, like, we just kind of get together and
see what happens.
Yeah.
So I was listening to a couple of the interviews you guys have done, so I know how you met and the process, how that went. This is kind of this out of an interesting question for myself. Do you ever find, because you guys are friends, is there ever any instances of, is there any time where you're kind of just jealous sometimes? Does it ever come into your head when Verbz uses a different producer or you work with a different artist? Does that ever come into consideration, or does that ever pop into your head sometimes?
Nah, that's whack, yo.
The only time we're jealous is when one of us has food and the other one doesn't.
We're good, you know what I mean?
No, we
because we make our own stuff anyway, do you know what I mean? But then we also make, the duo is the duo, that is that. And we make our own shit. He makes his own shit as well, so like, it is what it is.
obviously he's mad talented, so there's times when I hear a bar and I'm like, damn, I wish I got that
There's times I hear beats that he's given to other people, and I'm like,
but it's more like, you know, you just want to see your friends and that
shine, innit? See
do
the
their
man them
thing
shine.
and that. So
all the men them can shine, you.
And it's down, like, it's just, I don't know, it's good to have other people to work with, you know.
Well, yeah.
I think because you know, you learn more stuff, and like it pushes you in different directions, and there's certain, you know, rappers that you can work with that do stuff differently and things like that, you know, and certain producers.
Chance to learn, innit? Do you know what I mean? It's good to learn different shit from different people.
It's a good question, that, though.
No one's asked us that one before, mate. It's a good one.
Okay, this is for Mr. Slipz. You use a lot of like jazzy types of beats and samples and melodies. Is there a particular reason why you gravitate towards that kind of sound?
I just like, I don't know, I've just always kind of, at the moment, I'd say for the past like 4 or 5 years, I've just been sampling jazz quite heavily. Previous to that, I was a bit more out there, but I think I just started getting into jazz and like collecting records and kind of digging jazz, like jazz fusion, that kind of stuff, and exploring like jazz from kind of like more centered around Europe and things like that. I don't know, it's kind of a classic thing to do within hip hop, and I don't know why I need to move away from it, maybe. I want to start playing stuff more. So like for my Peeps, for example, there's no samples in that. I like played all of that in, apart from the Zax. A friend of mine sends me recordings, so I just chopped that up. So it kind of is a sample, but it's not like off a record or anything like that.
Go ahead and love me like you do. This one's for my people I done ran with and drew. Spent years with on these scenes, hope the fam stay true. And years later, still ain't handling the truth. Late anguish in the booth when I spangle with the troops on late nights. Take to great heights where great skies loom. Chase escape with big ties, been this way since the youth. Still break ties if he snake minds or him to make moves. True.
But yeah, I don't know. Jazz is just a go-to, really. It's like a lot of the shops in the UK, especially like in Brighton, there's just a lot of jazz and stuff like that. So I just find myself deep in the jazz crates. Yeah.
So with that, so with that in mind, is there like is there a particular sample you would say you've used in your career that you would consider your favorite that you've used?
Oof. Oh no.
No.
I don't know. I don't really have like a favorite beat. I guess like part of the journey is like trying to do that, is trying to find, you know, like trying to keep making stuff that you're content with. Like most of the time it's, I don't know, I couldn't answer that question. I have like people that I like sampling that are good, but I've kind of done that, you know, rinsed them, like sampled them a lot. But it's kind of like, I don't know, I don't have a favorite beat that I've made. I like For My Peeps, I like that one a lot. Yeah, and sure. That's not, I actually didn't sample anything, so I can't really say that. But off our album, I'd say Men Can Breathe. I kind of like the sample from that. It's Cleo Lane, a woman called Cleo Lane, who's a singer. And then there's also like a guitar sample off another record. There's horns off other records.
Bear man about to take down the sample name now.
Yeah. When I make a beat, I don't just use like one sample. I'll find like a loop and then I work off the loop. Or I find like chops and I work off them, and then I pull other records out and I find bits that fit. And usually I like to get the person to rap first. So it'll be like the drums, the main sort of sample, and then, so like the feeling, for example, like that beat, I added loads of stuff in after Verbz had recorded. A lot of time I do that because I feel like it builds up, you know, like the rain. I did that with the rain as well. So that's a good way of looking at how we perhaps work. We add, I like to add stuff in after. So yeah, the rain, actually, I like that beat as well.
Cold beat.
Yeah.
Okay, so keeping that in mind, you were saying that sometimes you'll hear verbs on a beat that you're like, shit, I wish I had done that or whatever, or he had done that for me. What is like the one sample or beat that you've heard from anywhere that you wish that you had made that beat?
What, from any, I need to just plug my laptop in, sorry, bro.
Yeah, sure.
From
anyone at any time
in the world.
Yes. That you heard, you went, oh man, I really wish that I had made that.
Okay, so there's a guy called Can Kick. You heard of him?
No, I haven't, no.
He's like from Oxnard in Cali, and he's like my favorite producer, probably. Like, I hate to say favorite, but like he's up there, and he's done a beat called I Dance in the Light of the Silvery Moon. No, sorry, it's not actually called that. It's called like Canstrumental 3 or something. But the beat is insane. So I like it would probably be that beat, to be honest with you. There's another beat he's done. Basically any beats that he's made, I wish I'd made them. Yeah, Can Kick, man.
Have to check that out.
Yeah, he's really good.
So I'm going to kind of put it back to you now, Verbz. Looking back over your catalog, what has been, if you had to pick, what is your favorite bar you've ever spit?
Favorite bar I've ever spit? We might say hear my thoughts. Favorite bar I've ever spit? I don't know, you know. That's a mad question, really. I don't know. Let's think of the new album. Nah, you know what? I don't even know. But I say one of my favorite choruses I've spat is on a tune that we done called Gutter Tales, which is I can't remember how it goes.
These are the Gutter Tales.
Go on then.
Nah.
Sorry, come on. You know,
I'm not a Jew.
what's the 16 fam?
You got to pay for that.
Gutter Tales, yeah. But it's just like, if you haven't heard that song, it's like from our first album, and it's just quite a like
this one here. It's Verbz made it with a homeless man.
on the street. But Gutter Tales.
All right, I'll check that out.
So yeah, that's one of my favorite choruses I've made. I feel like it's quite a deep song overall, and I feel like the chorus just cements in there very well. So I think that's probably one of my favorite choruses, or one of my favorite things I've spat. There's other stuff, but
I like the
verse
really on Landscapes.
Oh yeah, that's a cold verse.
Yeah,
if I do say so myself. Anyone else thinks it's cold, I appreciate it. I don't know really. I don't really have that in mind. You know what I mean? I couldn't tell you really, but yeah, Gutter Tales chorus, I like that. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so then just like I asked Mr. Slipz, what's maybe a bar or a verse that you've heard that just completely blew your mind and wish that you had been the one that spit it?
Probably one of mine.
Probably like Kalashnikov, All I Got. That whole song for me, I remember just like growing up listening to that tune. It's one of them songs that always just stuck with me. But it just I don't know. It's a mad tune. I love that tune. Kalashnikov is a G.
Yes,
UK legend. That's one. Have you heard Kalashnikov?
I think I've had one. I think he's been on one of the tracks I've checked out, but I plan on doing a thing called Throwback Thursdays where I go deep back in the catalog. So
Kalashnikov, All I Got. I think that, yeah, that would be the one for me. UK wise, I've rinsed that song like so many times.
So final questions for you gentlemen. Now you just released the album and you're already back at it already. So working on music. So what's next for you guys?
Gabba. I don't know. I don't know. What's next? Together or overall?
Whatever you guys are working on.
Making music as usual. You know, we're always working on something. I'm working on a few little solo bits and bobs. Yeah, I don't really like to give too much away. We don't give too much away, yo.
I mean, I just say to people like,
soon coming.
I'm always working on music, like not like just because I have to. It's like an addiction, you know.
Yeah.
Like
can't stop once you start.
If people come to my house, the likelihood is I'm doing music. People, anyone can get involved. Obviously, like not anyone, but you know the homies and shit. You know, like,
everyone holler snips, isn't it? You heard.
But what I'm saying is like I'm always up for working on stuff. I don't really like to talk about
what's coming in
what's coming out until it's like
done,
out
until
and
it's
done because
people talk about it and
not so much that.
I feel that it's best to just do it.
But I never know, like, you know, I could make something and then I could hate it and just be like, actually I've got to remake it, or
best to wait till you got it in your hands.
You know, something terrible could happen, you know, hopefully not, but touch wood. But you know, like, I don't know, I could, like, as well, like I work, do you know what I mean? I have bills to pay and shit, so like I'm not, don't really make money from music, so please support me. But you know, I mean, the working life can get in the way sometimes and hold up projects and things like that. So you've just got to just do it, and then when it's out, then talk about it. That's how I feel anyway. Yeah. But just trust me when I say there's plenty of stuff coming, and hopefully people will like it. And obviously with us, like, yeah, we're gonna be making more shit.
We're always making something.
Yeah, did you guys have a lot of, or even a couple, whatever? Did you have any tracks that you did that didn't make it on this album? Or did you everything you record make it on?
We had one. We had one.
Which one?
It was called Dark Fruit 16. Dark Fruit 16.
Oh yeah, that was one. That was one. Yeah. It's called Dark Fruit 16's ode to my homie Too Late. Shout out Too Late if you're watching this.
Shout out to Too Late.
Loves a can of dark fruit.
It was just like basically, yeah, we just did, like,
we just weren't feeling it.
Yeah, like the same with Limitless. Like we almost took Limitless off.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just weren't. We weren't as excited about it.
Sometimes you make stuff and you just don't really dig it. You know what I mean?
I think like that doesn't happen to us that much.
No, it doesn't. That was one.
We felt Limitless was a bit weaker than everything else on there, and then Dark Fruit 16 didn't even make the cut. You know,
forgot about it.
It was like an old beat. To be honest with you, a few of the beats off that album are pretty old as well. They're not like.
That's all right. You know.
Like the 2202 FM beat is about 10 years old, I think. And
Oh wow.
yeah, and a lot of people have tried to sort of get down on that, and I'm kind of happy that I'm kind of happy that someone finally did it justice. Do you know what I mean?
Respect.
But yeah, Dark Fruit 16s. You might see it out there one day.
We leave that in the archives.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I want to thank you again for coming by, being part of this. I appreciate you taking some time out of your evening. Love what you're doing, and
thank you very much for
Big ups,
letting us
man.
be a part of this again, man.
Thanks for having us.
thank you very much. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Peace out,
In a
man.
bit.
See ya.
If I